could still be there now. I was stupid. Kris Aquino admits regretting leaving ABS CBN. In line with the breaking news that Kris Aquino was transferring to another network and will be leaving her home network for 20 years, she admitted that things weren't easy for her lately. In an interview, she stated the following: "It was my fault. I could still be there now. I was stupid, but none of you knew that it was the time of the Abbado CBN threat. There were also health issues. I overestimated my worth. I miss them. I miss the work. I miss what I knew. I miss the daily conversations. I miss the 12 midnight text telling me Naito we were like a family. This is also like an annulment," she added. Kris will now be working with Tony Tuvira of Tape Incorporated and APT Entertainment that works closely with GMA Network. "So if it's God's will, it might happen, and I would be the happiest person. But if it's also God's will that GMA will welcome me, it'll be great. If part of the package is I get to meet American chef and TV host Anthony Bourdain, I'm very excited right now," she said when asked if she has plans on returning. Invite you to watch the video. Abbado asks to recall warrant of arrest, gets refused by court. Davao City Municipal Trial Court Branch 3 refused Edgar Abbado's request to recall the newest warrant of arrest against him. MTCC Branch 3 headed by Judge Silverio Mandalupe issued the new warrant of arrest for Abbado's failure to appear at the court hearing last week for charges of illegal possession of firearms. Also, his bail increased from 2 Philippine pesos, to 60,000 according to the new warrant given to him. According to Vincent Rendon, legal researcher 1 of Davao MTCC Branch 3, based on DOJ Circular No. 89 dated August 22, 2000, illegal possession of firearms has a maximum penalty of 6 years. Under the circular, the recommended bail is 10,000 pesos per year. If you will multiply 10,000 to 6 years, it would be 60,000 pesos. That is why the order was amended. Invite you to watch the video. Blueprint of a condo mall discovered from a wanted terrorist. But which condo mall was it? Read more. Police have discovered that a wanted man in the country has a blueprint of a condo mall which he previously planned on bombing. In the report of Lee Ligan of UNTV, Malaysian terrorist Mohammed Amin was arrested in his rented house at 104 Cotabato Street, Brgy. Kuliat, Quezon City. Aside from the blueprint, a fragmentation grenade, several rounds of ammunition, various identification cards with different names, and cable wires. Police authorities did not disclose which condo mall they were referring to avoid panic from tenants, but they said it is in Quezon City. "We are now in coordination with the intelligence community if the suspect taught others about bomb making, where the training happened, and who are the persons trained. We are also determining what his mission was in Metro Manila, PC. INSP. Roquemore Dija Jr. said. Amin, who also goes by the names Asman, Akman Amin and Amin Aklam, is a bomb expert and is a subject of an arrest warrant for a kidnapping with frustrated murder case filed at the Regional Trial Court, RTC, in Jolo, Sulu. The owner of the house, Bilan Talam, was charged with obstruction of justice and harboring a fugitive or wanted person. In Talam's defense, he has no idea that Amin is actually a wanted person in the country. Amin, who has $17,020 or $600,000 Philippine peso bounty on his head, is currently detained in jail. Invite you to watch the video. Ex-teen star John Wayne Sayce shot by riding in tandem. Incident possibly related to drugs. Ex-teen star John Wayne Sayce is under observation in the hospital after getting shot by two unidentified gunmen who fled using a motorcycle along Dr. Sixto Antonio Avenue. According to the initial investigation, Sayce was with his friend Eric Sabino around 11 p.m. and was waiting for someone when the men repeatedly shot at them. They were immediately rushed to the hospital. Sabino was declared dead on arrival while Sayce was hit with a lone bullet on his waist. Pasig City Police also noted that both Sayce and Sabino are in the city's watch list for alleged peddling of illegal drugs. Sayce, who is now 27, was a former member of the Star Magic Circle Batch 11 of ABS CBN around the year 2002. Some of his batchmates were Pauline Luna, Maja Salvador, Glaze de Castro, and brothers Raverett Raj and Cruz. He was also at the peak of his career with John Lloyd Cruz but admitted that he was addicted to illegal drugs. Invite you to watch the video. The big winner in the wake of Samsung's Note 7 disaster. Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 is dead in the water. First, the company had to recall the highly anticipated handset because it tended to catch fire. Then the replacement Note 7 devices Samsung shipped to intrepid customers who still wanted a big-screen Samsung phone started catching fire. The end result, Samsung has dropped the Note 7 like a hot rock. For Samsung, the Note 7 debacle has been nothing short of disastrous. Adding to the company's embarrassment is the fact that it now must ship fireproof boxes to customers who want to return their Note 7s. Samsung's loss, though, will certainly be someone else's gain. But it might not be the company that you'd first expect. In the US, Samsung is the second most popular smartphone brand, making up 28.4% of the market as of February 2016, according to ComScore's numbers. Apple takes the number one spot with 43.9% of the market share. The operating system matters. Now, it would seem to make sense that more consumers would move from the Note 7 to Apple's iPhone 7 Plus, since they are around the same size and equally popular among shoppers. But there's more to a smartphone than who makes the hardware. The operating system, the software that you actually interact with when using your phone, is far more important than a handset's hardware. In the US and around the world, more people use Android than iOS, and they will probably want to stick with those operating systems too. Think about it. If you use an iPhone, you keep your contacts and all of your photos and videos stored in iCloud. You buy your music through iTunes and purchase apps through Apple's App Store. If you're an especially dedicated user, you might also have accessories that will only work with your handset and nothing else. Well, that same logic works for Android-based phones like the Note 7. If you bought a Galaxy Note 7 or were thinking of upgrading to the Note 7 from an existing Android device, you've already got all of your contacts stored in Google Drive, along with your photos and videos. You rely on Google now to provide you with calendar updates and notifications, and you've probably bought a number of apps through the Google Play Store. Sure, Apple offers its Move to iOS app to help you transfer all of your content from your Android device to your new iPhone, but it's still a hassle. Not only are you essentially wasting money you spent on apps, but if your new iPhone is your first, you also have to learn an entirely new and unfamiliar operating system. Google's gain. So if Apple isn't going to benefit from Samsung's missteps, then who will? Android smartphone makers, that's who. In the US that means Google, which will soon launch its Pixel and Pixel XL smartphones and could see an unexpected bump in sales. The Pixel XL sports a 5.5-inch display that's fairly similar to the Note 7's 5.7-inch panel. LG and Lenovo's Motorola may also see a boost, as well. That's if customers decide to even switch from Samsung entirely and don't simply purchase a Galaxy S7 or S7 Edge. Overseas, competitors like China's Huawei and Oppo, the world's number 3 and number 4 smartphone makers, according to IDC research, could also take advantage of Samsung's failure. Samsung's hit. Killing the Note 7 will undoubtedly put a financial strain on Samsung. According to Reuters, analysts expected the company to sell upwards of 19 million Note 7 devices, resulting in $17 billion in revenue. With the death of the Note 7, though, that's all gone out the window and Samsung has had to cut its Q3 2016 profit estimates by $2.3 billion. The Note 7 is a blow to Samsung, but it's hard to imagine it will have an enormous impact on the company's global dominance. Sure, the S7 and Note 7 are, or at least were, the tech giant's premium devices, but Samsung sells a host of low-cost handsets throughout the world, especially in emerging markets. What matters most is how Samsung handles the fallout from the Note 7 controversy. If the company manages to smooth over relations with customers and put the issue in its rearview mirror in short order, Samsung shouldn't take as hard of a hit as some experts may suggest. If, however, The company has a repeat of the Note 7 fiasco when it releases its next smartphone, which will presumably be the Galaxy S8. Then Samsung might have to say goodbye to its title as world smartphone king. Invite you to watch the video. Thailand is on tenterhooks over the king's health. Bhumibol the 88-year-old king of Thailand, has been in poor health for so long that each fresh bout of illness seems scarcely newsworthy. But this week the palace announced that his health was not stable, instead of its usual practice of waiting for him to recover from whatever ailment had been troubling him before releasing any information about it. On October 12 the Bangkok Stock Exchange dropped by 6%, on rumors that his 70-year reign is coming to an end, whether by abdication, death or incapacity, which would allow the Crown Prince to be declared regent. The jitters come just as the junta that has run the country since 2014 was beginning to get comfortable. 2 months ago it engineered the approval of an authoritarian constitution through a flawed referendum. In theory, that started a countdown to fresh elections, presently scheduled for late 2017. But the death of the king, if it comes, would provide the generals with a perfect excuse to delay a new election. Indeed, the army's desire to secure an orderly royal handover seems to have been one of the reasons it took power in the first place. Related topics: Bangkok, politics, world politics, Asia-Pacific politics, Thailand. In the meantime, the junta's toadies have continued to tinker with the text of the constitution, even after the voters signed off on it. One change concerns a proposal, lazily added as an additional question to the referendum ballot, to give senators selected by the junta a say in who becomes prime minister. The new text, finalized on October 11, makes it much more likely that Thailand's next prime minister will be an elected. Prayuth Chan-ocha, the junta leader, says he will probably not be the new prime minister. But that is getting harder to believe. Some loyalists serving in Mr. Prayuth's present government plan to start a political party which will lobby to keep him in office. The new constitution's election rules will give such upstart outfits oomph. The junta anyway says it will retain authority throughout any period of post-election coalition making, which in theory means it could install any prime minister it desires. The junta is also tidying up loose ends, and putting opponents in their place. Last month a junta-appointed committee concluded that Yingluck Shinawatra, the prime minister whom the generals ousted in 2014, should be fined around $1 billion for enacting a costly rice subsidy scheme while in office. That dismayed some of her enemies, who say the fine is far too low. The ruling was issued even though Ms. Yingluck is still undergoing trial for alleged negligence in connection to the rice scheme, at a risk of 10 years in jail. Many others are also being put in their place. In early October immigration authorities denied entry to Joshua Wong, the teenage leader of Hong Kong's pro-democracy umbrella movement, who had been invited to address students in Bangkok. In recent weeks the government has threatened to arrest authors of an Amnesty International report which details allegations of torture by the military, and launched a sedition case against a well-known human rights lawyer. Meanwhile the government has been deflecting claims of corruption within its own ranks. It has had to defend the Deputy Prime Minister's decision to charter a jumbo jet to his 40 or so people to an international summit in Hawaii. When journalists noted that a construction company associated with Mr. Prayuth's nephew has won several sizable army contracts, officials warned that they would scour social media to identify people who accused the Prime Minister of wrongdoing. The junta is not thought to be held in great esteem by voters. Such incidents further dent its standing. Crown Prince Vajiralongkorn is even more unpopular. The army's machinations should ensure that the succession, whenever it comes, passes without great drama, at least in the short term. But inept generals ruling in the name of a little-loved king is hardly a formula for stability. Thank you for watching videos. You remember the likes and comments below. Thanks.